hard for me. Sometimes it's hard to recognize what your own culture is. Like, 'cause it's just so normal that it doesn't seem like people don't, they're like, oh, what is Britishism? I don't know, it's just what I eat. So I don't know if other people feel that way. I kind of have a long history of living in different countries, and so a lot of cultures and a lot of different backgrounds kind of are part of who I am, I suppose. I was born in England. All of my parents and grandparents are British, so that's a big part of my culture. But then I moved to France when I was 13, and that was a very important time in your life as you're a teenager. It becomes a lot of who you are during those years between 13 and 19 is kind of growing your identity. So having those years in France definitely had a massive impact on who I am. I am cooking, making 2 quiches. So we make quiche a lot, and it's really French, of course. I think one of the big things is, you know, in the US we eat quiche, but it tends to be more like a breakfast or a brunch food. And in France it's more of a meal. I think it's a whip. So what I'm doing right now is I've got 2 pie crusts that I did earlier, rolled them out, and I'm just gonna mix together a whole bunch of eggs, because really, quiche is pretty simple. It's eggs. Food just connects to who you are. It connects to your backgrounds. When I cook, sometimes I literally have my mom or my grandmother's voice in my head, because I'll do things that they would not agree with, and they'd be like, what are you doing? You're not doing that right. And, you know, I have to kind of hear that voice in my head and go, no, I know you wouldn't like it this way, but this is kind of how I do it. And a lot of things are like that, particularly when it comes to the holidays. Like, everyday life is just kind of busy, get food on the table, and certainly there's like things from my background that are there. But when it comes to Christmas or Easter or something like that, that's when it becomes like really important. Because I think of like things that my family has made for like years and years and years, and I feel like I have to make those, because otherwise that kind of tradition stops with me. So I have to keep it going. So yeah, there's a lot of pressure there to keep that up. It's also, you want to also not like stay just stagnant. I want to try new things and bring new cultures in to what I do. So yeah. I think having access to the ingredients that you want to use in your food and your background is so important. When I first moved to Kentucky, the grocery stores had really limited ingredients. It really was very traditional American. The cheeses, meats, the vegetables were very limited, and it was very frustrating that I couldn't find things that I love, just part of my normal diet, I could not find here in the US at all. That's changed over the last, particularly 10 years. In Louisville, I think most things you can find. Sometimes you have to look for them, but even our local Kroger has pretty much all the cheeses from France that I ever eat. It has most of the ingredients that I would use in most of my recipes. I can even buy French butter, like that's imported, which is incredible. So really most of my things I can find, but I think if you cannot find those and you want to be able to make your own dishes from your culture, it's frustrating, and must be very frustrating to people who can't find that. Like, which American family has this going on? Nobody. I've got my cornichons, which are French, and I've got my English mustard, so I have my French mustard and my English mustard. So yeah, there's a lot of things like that I bet people have, and I have my Indian spices too. I think I'm lucky, and probably because most of my background is European, I really can access things that are imported from Europe. So I can go up to Kroger, which is a mile away, and they have Roquefort cheese that is imported from France. And it's the same quality. It's the same thing that's sold in France. And it's really not that much more expensive. So I'm really lucky to be able to have access to those kind of things. Like I said, I'm kind of privileged on the East End. I have access to a lot of grocery stores. Within a mile, I think we have 4 or 5 grocery stores, which is incredible. And then there's definitely some parts of Louisville that have nothing for miles and miles and miles, let alone anything that's going to have authentic foods. So it's definitely depends upon where you live, what you have access to, and also your finances too. I mean, I can get most things I want from France or from England, but most things are more expensive here because they've been imported, so I have to be able to pay for it. So if you're in a situation where you're not living close to stores that carry lots of ingredients, or you don't have the budget to be able to buy the things that you love, that must be difficult. I had a whole bunch of fruit that was going bad. And I do this a lot. Like I buy raspberries and stuff, and then we eat a little bit of it, and then it hangs out. And if I'm not careful, we have to throw it out. And I really don't like wasting food. And I like to try to use it up. So this morning, I saw I had a few apples that were close to going. I saw I had some raspberries and stuff, and I put them all in the pot. And I just cooked them together like this. This is apples, blackberries, blueberries, everything I had. I just cooked them all up in this, which is a little bit of sugar, really not much. Because it's pretty sweet as it is. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a breakfast. This is kind of like, makes me think of British, like British crumble. You'd have it as a dessert, where you'd kind of make kind of like a cobbler, an American cobbler, but you'd make flour and with butter and kind of make a top that you cook, that you would have with like ice cream or cream. I'm just breaking up some pecans. Now, pecans are something that I never would have had as a kid, because they're very American. Yeah, so I've got oats, I've got some nuts, and just some vanilla extract and some honey. That's all I'm gonna do, mix it all together. And because I've got the quiche, I've got the oven on, this is the perfect time to make this, because it's going all together. Like I told you, I have my grandmother's voice in my head and my mother's voice in my head, and I change recipes all the time. And I think that life changes, things change, things are never gonna be exactly stagnant. And I think that's just part of the way things are. So definitely the recipes that we had, I've added stuff. And I think that becomes from my different backgrounds and different cultures kind of mixed together in my food. So part of me feels I should be like keeping it exactly as is. And then the other part of me is like, no, that's not reality. Like life changes, you adapt, you have new things, you learn new techniques, and you just kind of put it all together. And that's kind of the reality of what I do, I guess. It's kind of, yes, keeping traditions, but also change, you know?